It's time. Get hyped. It's MaNa versus Snute. Let's go. Game number 1 has begun on Dreamcatcher. The red Protoss is Liquid MaNa. And on the other side of the map, the blue Zerg, also representing Team Liquid, it's Snute. So, this is sort of a round 2 after WCS Austin. It's another team kill. Will Snute be able to change things this time? Or is MaNa going to reign supreme? Already he's going after the mineral patches. Snute respecting the probe by sending the drone. Fully aware that he could lose a lot more if he doesn't do that. So definitely worthwhile, and efficiently transforms it into a pool. So MaNa taking his Nexus, playing the standard game, and this probe over here is going to navigate its way back to the gas geyser. Gonna really make sure that Snute is cutting gas or is not cutting gas. Keeping an eye on things. I just want to say thank you for you guys for joining me today. Shout out to Blizzard for giving me the opportunity. And I really hope you guys enjoy this game. You guys and gals, of course. So a pretty standard opening on both sides here. We're going to see if MaNa opts for the Stargate this time. It looks like it. Based on the positioning here, he puts his pylon basically in the furthest place that Snute could possibly scout. And yeah, he's even putting the structure higher up there. And it is going to be a Stargate. So pretty well hidden. Shouldn't be easy for any overlords to really get in there and get a quick scout. So very nicely done by MaNa. And as we see again, he actually does not chrono boost out this adept. He's chrono boosting out his probes instead to get that stronger economy in the early game. He does chrono boost out the second adept though, to keep it safe, right? But the first one, he doesn't actually. The second one, he's not chrono boosting either, so he's not feeling too threatened by Snute's lings at the moment. Maybe he's very comfortable against Snute. Maybe he's aware that he's not going to try to do any cheeky ling play at this time, but how can you be so sure? He's taking a little bit more risks, though, against his teammate. I can see that. They've definitely practiced quite a bit. Alright, so that Shade is a good scout. Gets cancelled. But definitely counts the drones and makes sure that Snute is playing an honest game here. And Snute deciding to spread some creep instead of injecting again. Pretty standard. Definitely wanting to connect the natural and the third bases together. And that adept will make its way back home relatively safely. The lings are giving chase, though. They might, in fact... Okay, yeah, this Shade... Actually, that was very ballsy. He should have shaded and kept running there. But basically, MaNa is aware of the lings now. So at least that was some good scouting information with the adept. But a little expensive because there's only one adept here. But there's a shield battery at the wall, and Snute is actually respecting the situation. I feel like he could actually maybe get some damage done. There's only a single adept. But it's risky. And especially considering the fact that there's no Oracle. The Oracle is going to come out shortly, though. So if there was a little damage potential, it's definitely gone. But Snute recognizes it better than I can, that's for sure. So he's just going to play it safe. He's going to keep these lings and make sure he denies MaNa's third. As discussed earlier in ZVP, PVZ, you know, regardless, the third base is really far away. So it's hard for Snute to connect this base, right? He had to creep a little bit earlier. And also, it's hard for MaNa because... he needs to be in position here. So he's keeping the Oracle in position, but he's going to try to transfer a probe soon. He's actually making a few more units to be sure that he can deal with these lings efficiently and not lose a probe while trying to build this third base. So we do have MaNa moving in with his Oracle now. And he will be taking his third on the other side, though. We'll see what this Oracle ends up doing. It's a stasis trap, but Snute reacts perfectly. So he definitely doesn't take many losses there. Just one drone stuck in the stasis. Not a big deal. A little bit of mining time. Really nothing significant. So we have another Stargate that was built by MaNa. And he's going for the Phoenix play. Keeping Snute in the dark with only one Phoenix on the map. to deny the scouting information. This is very, very powerful. And guess what, guys? Snute is also going for the roaches. This is the dilemma here for the Zergs, is that if they're against an Archon drop, they want the roaches. But if they're against this Phoenix play, they definitely don't. And it's basically impossible for the Zerg to know if there's a double Stargate play coming unless he sacrifices an extra Overlord or something like that. I feel like that's the dilemma that most Zergs have to face. And no Overlord speed either, right? So it's going to be very tough for Snute to know. I mean, he knows now, seeing the Phoenixes, but they're dealing so much damage. 2 Overlords do go down. Very, very good opener by MaNa. But you know what? Snute is pushing back pretty hard. He's got a creep highway already going on. It's not really a creep highway. There aren't any Overlords dishing it out, but it's a pretty good creep spread. 6 minutes into the game, over halfway across the map. So now MaNa is under siege. Is Snute gonna be able to break in? A few lings get us around on the sentry. In fact, I think they might even get the kill on it. Very close, if not. All right, so the cybernetic score goes down. Snute is inside MaNa's natural. All right, so he's taking out the pylon right before the Immortal comes out. This is looking mighty dangerous for MaNa. I mean, the Oracle DPS is here, the Phoenix DPS is here, but losses have been incurred. 9 workers killed. Snute is currently at 45 workers versus MaNa's 48, so MaNa's still in a good position in this game with all his Phoenixes still alive, but he really needs to seal up that wall. But then again, there are lings at the third, so I feel like Snute might want to just go into the natural at this point. But he's going to go for worker kills. He wants more. He's hungry. It is true that there aren't many workers left in the nap, but it was left open there. And he's there now, but the Immortal has come back. The Robo is up and running now with the pylon. So it looks like MaNa's going to be holding on. He does. Oh, maybe not, though. There's another set of reinforcements that just got here. This is a very tough situation for MaNa. Snute is now at 50 workers, 18 ahead. As long as he can keep this base, MaNa might be able to somehow turn this around, but it's going to be very difficult. And he could lift the lings, but he's better off using the Oracle energy there. Very close. Very difficult to keep this base alive. We're going to see how it goes for him. Snute is not taking a 4th base yet, so he's going to be able to keep the pressure going. And in fact, he went for the Infestor tech. So basically, we have 3 Infestors being made right now. We have some defensive spores going down. So really just the answer to the Phoenixes, if ever MaNa did decide to keep committing into them. But MaNa's not. He's actually just going into Robo once again, pumping out these Immortals. Last game he went up to 3 Robos, so we're gonna see if he does the same thing here in his game versus Snute. I feel like the Infestor is also a good choice because they just scale so well throughout the game. So initially, I mean, they don't get much value out of their energy, but if they get a lot of Fungals out, Infested Terran out, I mean, that's when the Infestors really do start to shine. But I feel like they're just a defensive mechanic for the Phoenixes, especially. These 2 Queens should go down. Beautifully picked up here by MaNa. Snute can't really do much about it. He's poking in with 4 more Queens, but I feel like they're not that threatening. But there you go. There's the bait with the Infestor. That's why. So very, very nicely done. There are spores here. There are Fungals going down as well, and the Phoenixes are melting. Really nicely done with the run by as well. Snute all over the place this game, not giving MaNa any breathing room whatsoever. I really like that because the Queens did not look threatening, but with the Fungals, it was the perfect bait. It was amazing. Amazingly done by Snute. So, I mean, MaNa is still pretty well equipped. He's got 3 Oracles, 2 Phoenixes. He hasn't built those extra Robos yet, though. I feel like he doesn't want to commit so highly on that against Snute. Especially because Infestors are out and higher tech is on the way, right, with the Infestation Pit. So MaNa clearing creep at the very least here. Not really going to commit to a push. He needs to scout what's going on and see what Snute is really all about right now. He's got some Banelings, he's got some Hydralisks. And Snute also has a 5th base. So we do not have the extra Robos. We do have a pretty late Templar Archives here coming out of MaNa. So a bit of a lack of AoE, I'd say. He just needs Snute to be held off a little bit longer. But the problem is that MaNa is not really harassing, and Snute is forming right outside of his base. So now MaNa is aware, and I think he's in a lot of trouble here with the lack of AoE. Look at this, triple stasis ward. This is his AoE right here. So it's way better than nothing. Pretty nicely done by MaNa. He gets a few Lings caught up there in the stasis trap, but this is a pretty hard fight for him to take. He doesn't really. Oh my goodness, the Baneley connections right here on the probes. This is crazy. What an engagement here by Snute. The Hydras are still alive. The Oracles have no energy. Reinforcements are coming to get some picks, hitting the Immortals from the other side of this wall here. Really nicely done by Snute. GG. Toasty. Toasty. That was a very toasty game. Well, we have to give it the toasty seal of approval. That was awesome. So, very well played. Let me update the scores real quick. Just give me a quick second. We have our score perfect. Really nicely done by Snute. Trying to get revenge for Austin. So we'll see if he can do it. And we should be hopping into our next lobby very shortly. Bear with me, guys. All right, we got a lobby. Amazing. Alrighty. So we got Snute versus MaNa, round 2. It's a best of 3. Hopefully you guys are hyped. And I think the players are ready. Let's get right into it. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry, even Toasty is a little too excited. I'll make sure he doesn't do that again. For now, will MaNa take it to a tie? Or is Snute gonna win the whole thing? Only one way to find out. All right, here we go. Our second game is going to be on Lost and Found. On the top right, representing Team Liquid, the red Protoss, it's MaNa. And on the bottom left side of Lost and Found, the blue Zerg, it's Liquid Snute. So pretty interesting game. I feel like Snute transitioned pretty darn well after the Phoenix play. Feels like he's been practicing against that style because his reaction was pretty well refined. Earlier we saw a game against Xanster, and Xanster's lack of information hurt him a little bit. But the thing is, Snute also had the lack of information. The difference was that MaNa used those Phoenixes a little bit earlier, and I feel like it didn't pack as much of a punch because since they hit earlier, Snute was also able to transition earlier, and they were just a little bit less impactful. So I feel like if you delay it a bit more and the Zerg is actually going on roaches, I mean, it's just going to pack an even bigger punch. So that being said, MaNa's going in here for a good scout. Gonna see that Snute is playing the standard game here. Spawning pool just going down. MaNa knows he'll be able to chrono boost all the probes he wants for now. So he does go for his Nexus and the Cyber at 21. Very economic play. Very economic opening. So, how many minerals is this probe going to be able to deny? This time Snute is not chasing it, so... but then again, MaNa did pick one up, so that's it. Wasn't very much. That could actually go up to at least 80-90 minerals if it's done properly for, let's say, at least a good 45 seconds to a minute. If that probe gets there fast and keeps on putting that pressure, it's really worth it. I'm actually surprised MaNa's not sticking around to investigate whether or not a third base is going down. And there you go. He turns back around to see if it actually is going down or not. He's going to check the alternate third as well. You got to keep tabs on these things. And we do have a Stargate coming out from MaNa, so basically the same opener all the time. And you know, this is actually a very logical way to play this game and do other things in life. Like, I'll give you guys an example. In Taekwondo, the whole martial art is just kicks. But the thing is, there are like 15, 20 different kicks that all start off the same way. So the kicks start off the same way. You don't know which one is coming. And this is sort of the way MaNa plays. He'll open up with a Stargate, go for Oracle Phoenix, deny information, but then he'll switch into either Archon drop or to double Stargate or to an 8-gate charge lot Archon pressure. So this is a very smart way to play. And this is why MaNa's always doing the same thing, because it's actually unpredictable what the follow-up is going to be with this opener. So if you're wondering how to play PvZ, this is definitely a solid way to not only win a game, but switch it up against many people. Very strong tournament style right there. So, this one Adept doesn't get the shade behind the wall. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. He should have shaded it, then built the gateway. So then he could have probably saved it. But anyways, I mean, he's still defending well. It's just a single Adept. It's not the biggest deal at all. And MaNa is going to hold on tight. I mean, Snute wasn't really committed to anything. It's just a very, very light pressure here. Just enough to deny the third base and force a few more units out of MaNa. Because if not, he's not going to be able to take his third quite as conveniently. So here's what it is. This time it's going to be the double Stargate again. So you would think that maybe he would switch it up, but this game he doesn't. He goes for it again, and this time we have 3 spores coming down from Snute, so he's definitely ready for any Oracle aggression on any base that he has there. Pretty solid defense, and those spores will scale out well throughout the rest of the game, simply because he's against double Stargate. So these Lings are still giving MaNa a hard time to expand. They haven't really killed anything, but MaNa is just forced to produce off of those 2 gateways, right? It takes a little while to get those units out and to take the third. So MaNa's going to try and go for it now, I believe. He has his Oracle on the way back to keep the Lings at bay. And there you go. So that's like 5 units and an Oracle just to be sure that this base does go down. But once again, these units are going to be useful throughout the rest of the game, though. That's perfectly fine, and it's perfectly safe. So a great play by MaNa here. Actually, Snute's going to go for the hatchery, but the Oracle is there, and actually, he does force the cancel, and he got the probe. So there is a delay on this base, significant delay. I feel like that poke was definitely worth it for Snute, but question is, he's not really, you know, is he aware of this? He's not really aware. He doesn't have any overlords on the map. So basically, they're going to be revealed now. So now Snute knows, and he's got Lings on the way, and there are 6 Phoenixes here, getting 2 Queens right off the bat. Looks like they'll even get the Overlord as well, or not. He's going to go for an extra Queen, a 3rd one, and now a 4th. So the Queen numbers are just dwindling at the moment. Snute is reproducing 3 Queens at a time. There's also a Nidus network that's being put down. 2 more Oracles on the way for MaNa, though, so he's going to be able to hold off these Lings as long as they get out here. So the Phoenixes should be picking up roaches, and they are. Pretty nice here by MaNa, making sure that Snute's counter push isn't too strong, not being too greedy, going for drones, and neglecting the push that's on his way. But, I mean, he's still not at home with these. The roaches are actually coming back home still. So this is convenient for MaNa. Just keeping the Zerg at bay. His Phoenixes can't really kill these Lings anyways. So hopefully the Oracles come out. There should have been 2 Oracles. Yeah, they're here. We got 1 there. 3 Oracles total. So this is a pretty good response by MaNa. He just read that they were A lot of Lings on the way, but here's the thing. If he puts stasis traps, that's an amazing reaction, and there you go. He puts stasis traps on the Nidus. This is the best thing he can do, but wow, the clutch with the Ling. Snute is already a step ahead of that maneuver. That's an incredible play right there, but the Nidus still goes down. It was a little too risky. He didn't go for it. It's also a good distraction, though. Is the Nidus actually loaded up here? Yeah, it's loaded up with roaches and queens at the moment. So it is going to come down again. This Stasis Ling is revealing the, giving him vision for the Nidus, I should say. And the queens right now are popping out, healing the Nidus, keeping it alive. So many Zerg units out here for Snute. Is he going to be able to win this game too? Alright, so MaNa having a bit of a rough time here. He's got Phoenixes, he's got an Immortal and a Zealot. This is a little too much. So many Nidus Worms, so many queens. Snute losing like 4 queens at the start, just has so many more. It's really impressive. This is an incredible push. Despite all the, like, you would not expect this many queens after sniping 4 queens. This is incredible. So I think Snute had this planned all along. He was definitely prepared to do some sort of all-in here. But GG is thrown, and Snute takes game number 2 and sends MaNa into the losers bracket. Very well played. Incredible game.